hello, hello, Instagram. Hello, hello. It is an early version, an early version of PJ Chats with Lily. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Lily. I am the author and the creator of Authentically You. And for a couple of years, I've been coming on here introducing you to my circle of influence, friends, business partners, family members. Last week, you met my puppy, the love of my life, the man of my dreams. But tonight, I get to introduce you to one of my friends that's on the other side of the ocean. And she is traveling over in the UK area part of the world. We'll have to find out where she's at tonight. But because of the time difference, we went ahead and pushed PJ Chats a little earlier, which I don't mind because I really should go to bed early tonight. I have not slept since I got this dog. But my friends, if you remember back in the day, I was posting a lot about Clubhouse during the lockdown, made friends all over the world, and I wanted you to meet this woman. And I'll tell you why. Commitment. They say we become like the 5 people we hang out with the most, right? And I got the chance to every single morning listen to her speak on Clubhouse. And I thought I would share her influence with you because this is one of the most like committed, like ready to meet her goals, smashing her goals. And I'm going to get out of the way. I want you to hear from her why. I mean, you'll see why I am enamored and I'm stalking her online because she is going places. So give me 1 second. I'm going to bring her on. This is always that. Did it work? Is it there? Is it happening? Come on now. I think it's working. There we go. Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, world traveler.
Hello, love. I got my PJs.
I love it. See? I got Starry Night. You got that red passion color going on in those PJs. So wait, what time is it where you're at?
So it is a midnight.
Oh my God, thank you. I'm glad we didn't leave it at 9 p.m. And then I was like, what time did we say? Was it 12? Was it 6? But
yes, it was supposed to be 12, and then after it just turned out perfectly well that I'm still up, so it's perfect. So we're really good. Don't worry.
Well, thank you for being up and willing to meet, my friends and my followers here on Instagram. And whether you're watching live or whether you're watching on the replay, I've got to tell you, this is a woman you want to follow because when you think of commitment, and Olivia, I'd love for you to share about this, right? Because it's not about you and me. It's about that person that's sitting at home watching an interview and they're thinking, man, maybe I'm too old, maybe I'm too young, or it's not the right timing. People really want change. And I think you and I got to see a lot of influencers come out of Clubhouse because we got confident. We were speaking in rooms, and not everybody's familiar with Clubhouse, but it's a social app. But one of the things that I've seen in you is that what you say is what you do. And from the beginning, you've been steady Eddie, you've been committed to your goals. And I want to get out of the way and tell us a little bit, because I know you and I are in the same industry. Let's make this clear. Yeah. We're not on the same team, right? We're not on the same company. But let me correct that, because we are on the same team as far as cheerleading one another. And I love to watch you rise, and you work with one of my favorite people. You work with Jessie Lee Ward, So I know that at the end of the day, you've got the right leadership and you've got the right company, right? So, even though we're not in the same company, we encourage, we support each other. And I want to put that out there because it's so important when we're committed to our goals to support one another outside of financial ties. So tell us a little bit about what sparked your desire to build your own business. And I know you're young, girl, because you're out there killing it as young as you are. And what does commitment mean to you?
Yeah, love that. First of all, thank you so much for having me. And for everybody watching on the replay or watching live, like, this is a conversation or a connection that we had before like we both knew we were actually network marketing. I didn't know she wasn't until like I saw her feed and stuff. And I think it comes down to connection. It comes down to conversation, to being a normal human being. So, that was the first thing, that we were just normal human beings having connection, and the support, definitely regardless of what you are, you could still support someone. I know sometimes in network marketing, it can be this bitchy thing where, ooh, she's in another company, so I'm not going to support. But I just believe as human beings, we need one another. I believe it comes from, I'm a believer in Christ, but, I'm not here to add any belief on anybody else, but we support each other regardless of where we are. And so you told me Spark the Desire. Where did that start? That actually started in why doing network marketing is because I'm second generation of network marketers. So my mom was in it before, and then I just jumped into it, did different network marketing companies, didn't work out until I actually talked to God. I was like, God, leave me alone. I do not want to do this. Like, I'm not for this, so just leave me alone. And then when COVID hit, it really was, I just prayed and I was like, can you bring me something that can align body, mind, and soul? Because I was selling my time for money as a fashion stylist, image consultant, and you can't do wardrobes from the phone. It's very difficult. I love the human connection. And yeah, friend called me up, said, hey, jump into it. And yeah, I was talking to someone the other day. I jumped really into it. He says, look, we got this in the package. And I was like, I'm not doing that. He's like, well, you only have 5 hours to decide. Are you in or out? And I just jumped. I didn't even know what I was ordering. I didn't even know what was happening. So, in every opportunity, everything lies on the other side. And that is probably where my commitment comes from. The fact that I just listened to God, and I'm still in, the company that I am today. But the spark, the desire came from the fact that there is not enough, if I may say, and hopefully it won't offend anybody here, but there is no one mixed race like me in Europe that has the voice that I have, has the energy that I have, and is a trailblazer. Jesse was talking about being the walls of Jerusalem, and no one's done that. And so I just feel that my torch right now is to serve those multicultural people that, for example, in the UK, because right now I'm in France because my family lives here, but I live in London. That's why I told you there's a difference of time. And London is so diverse. In London itself, we're 8 billion people. 8 million people, sorry. 8 million. And I'm a stranger in my own country because I'm not American, but I have an American accent. Never lived in the US, but I'm British. And you meet your next door neighbor. My next door neighbor, I think she's from Pakistan. The other one's from Asia. The other one is probably pure British. The one downstairs is half Italian. Like, it is so diverse that I know that if I feel like a stranger in my own country, others too. So my goal is to be able to unify and give hope into people, to be like, look, I can still earn and brand at the same time. So that's where the spark the design. I know you asked another question. The commitment, was it? Or what was that?
Yes, it was a commitment, but I'd love, listen, the more you say spark the desire, I just see you writing a book. I like, write that shit down. Okay.
Okay,
Like,
I'm writing it down.
Spark the desire. I love when God gives me a download, and I'm like, oh my God, like there's a book there. Because what you just said is really, honestly, true love is seeing each other's love without boundaries, right? Without borders, love without borders, not without boundaries. God, please, let's have some boundaries. But I was in Canada last week, and I noticed that there's diversity where I live, but we live in pockets. Like, people separate each other,
Yeah.
right? But in Canada, everybody had dinner together. Like, we were sitting at a bar, and I was like, oh my God, where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you from? And they're all like, we're Canadian. We're Canadian. I'm like, oh, I said, I don't mean to be nosy. It's just I really like to learn where people's heritage is. Mine is Cuban, right? And then they started telling me about their trips to Cuba. I forget Canadians can travel to Cuba, right?
To Cuba.
But then, they're like, oh, my family's from Trinidad. My family is from Egypt. My family's from Iraq. And I looked at my friend, and I literally had tears down my eyes. And I said,
it's
that
so
is
beautiful.
beautiful. It's golden. So you're like in the midst of that. You're passionate about bringing people together.
Yeah.
You know, I love that you see it from a perspective of positivity. You don't see the obstacle, you see the opportunity. And
Yeah.
you've been very committed to your growth. So on that note, right, that commitment that you have,
Yeah.
if somebody's listening and they're like, because let me tell you, there are people that say, oh, I'm afraid of commitment, or I just don't know how I can say yes and really follow through. That's being committed to uncommitment.
Yeah.
So when someone says, "Oh, but I don't want commitment," especially in a relationship, I'm
Yeah.
like, you do realize you're committed
Yeah.
to uncommitment.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit
I
about
love
what
that.
has kept your attention, because we both know, right? There's highs,
Yeah.
there's lows. You know, we got good
Of course.
seasons. It's feast or
Mm.
famine when we're in sales.
It's like the seed, you know, the tide comes in and the tide comes out. And before I tell like a bit of mine, I'd love to know like where everybody's tuning in from. We'd love to know. Like, do tell us in the
Yes,
comments. We're all
yes.
humans, open my repeat person. Absolutely. So you said commitment. For me, commitment is simply, it's a promise that you make to yourself, and that is point blanket. That there's nothing more to that. It's just the promise that you say to yourself. You say you're going to go and work out, you go and work out, because the commitment is you. I could tell you, for example, for you, literally I could be like, oh, okay, I did like 100 push-ups, but who knows like the real reality of the truth. Like, I know I did do 100 push-ups, right? I did 10. So it's the fact that commitment, I really just do believe that it's saying that you're going to do something and you're going to stick to it, regardless of if it's annoying, if nobody sees it. And the strength in it, I don't know what it is. I just think it's the resilience in me that I just cannot give up. I cannot give in. And I know it's tough. Nothing comes easy. But it's maybe because of the background of my parents. My mom's Scottish, my dad's Nigerian. I don't know actually where it came from, that resilience of just not giving up. It's just something that I can't do. Commitment to date no
Oh,
one, lol.
that would be
Well,
my acro friend in St. Petersburg. What do you mean committed to date no one? No one is not
I
a
think
person.
no, no
I'm not gonna
one is
call
not.
him out.
But no, I do believe that committing first to yourself is the biggest thing. I'll tell you this little story that I today, because I was walking in the city, and I did a test drive into there's a BMW that I want, which is the X6. And so I drove the car, and it felt so natural, me driving the car, etc. So I was really happy. You know when things just come to you and you feel that it's just natural because you practiced it so much in your world. And as I was walking through Paris, because I was going through, they're preparing the 14th of July, which is a massive big thing. And I was walking down and I felt okay with myself. And I was having this conversation because this is what I do. I was thinking, okay, why am I feeling so confident in who I am today? It's because I was looking backwards. Everything that I said I was going to do, I've always done it. I haven't backed down. If I and I prioritize myself. And when people say, yeah, but I can't commit, it's because you're not prioritizing yourself. You're not giving yourself the chance.
Agreed.
You can't give yourself the chance, you're not going to get anywhere. You say you can't find somebody in your life, well, then that's on you. You say that you always broke, well, then that's the language that you have. I am the best person that it is. I look really good. Like, my body is not exactly where I want it to be, but I look really good. In fact, the taxi guy this morning, today at where I was in Paris, he actually tried to stop the whole like street to get my number. I said, no, absolutely
Woo!
not. We're not stopping for you. But because I am so confident in who I am, and I would love for others to get through that, but the confidence only comes when you prioritize yes to yourself, and you're okay to keep on going on every single day and say, you know what, I'm just going to show up even though there's maybe no one showing up or there's no one liking my stuff. I'm just going to get better at my craft. Because and I heard this quote, and I know from Tony Robbins, and I'm probably going into a TED Talk right now, but he always said, it was a Zig Ziglar, never underestimate what you could do in a year than what you could do in 5 years. And I will tell you this, the body that I had 3 years ago was really disgusting. But by me committing to do CrossFit every single day and showing up, I am much fitter, I'm much leaner, and I'm loving myself more than what I did 5 years ago, 3 years ago. I'm talking about body, but I mean, it can be anything that you want. It can be a relationship. I manifested my man. It was easy. Well, easy. I'll let it go.
But you're in flow. You know when you're in flow and things come to you and you're sitting there and you're like, you put in the work. And I
Yeah.
love that you said you showed up for yourself, right? You know, I see so many people with potential. It's kind of, I always say, Lillian, I look at someone and I'm like, oh my gosh, this person has like this potential to do X, Y, Z. But if they put their mind to it, they gotta want it, right? We can want something, and you and I build teams, right? So
Yeah.
we can want something for someone and we can see
Yeah.
greatness, right?
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
commitment has to be from the individual. Like, what do I need to do? How do I prepare? What's
Yeah.
step one? What's step two?
Yeah.
And I think you do a great job. You show up on your videos, right? You know, you and I both know, like, when we're out here, we're upsetting people, right? So I know personally, my videos used to get 6,000-7,000 like views back in
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah.
And then I developed a hater, and I know you know this, right? Because it is what it is. But like Jessie Lee says, right? You know you arrive when you start getting the haters. But it's the staying committed in the face of
Yeah.
what's that word? I'm not obstacle, in the face of
Challenge
when something
or in the face of current
is
life.
coming against you, right?
Yeah, when I would
Somebody
probably
put
say
it in the
challenge.
comments.
Yeah, somebody
Put
who
it in
ever
the
finds
comments.
the word, put it in the
Put it in the
comments
comments.
below.
But the message I'm trying to send, right? I am pretty sure if we had an hour, you can go on and on about things that have come your way, whether it be a hater, whether it be a breakup, right? Like, listen, I had a really bad breakup a couple years ago. And, you know, I kind of got on this rant of like, that's it. I'm not going to date seriously anymore. And the only one that I was hurting was myself, right? Like I started to not go to the gym. I lost the commitment to myself because of someone else's behavior.
Yeah.
And I love that you always bring it back. Like, in
Yeah.
spite of whether you have 1 like or 10,000 likes, you're always showing up.
Yeah.
So as we wrap it up with this commitment, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're building your team, you're traveling, you have your man. I love when you talk about your man. You have your man, you've got your business.
Yeah.
Can you leave the audience with a tip that even when you're facing, and that word is not coming at me, but when you're facing the enemy, right?
Adversity,
When you're facing,
probably. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, what keeps you committed as far as where your activity, because how many times, I don't know about you, I've wanted to shut this social media down. Every time that hater comes after me, I'm like, dang it, just quit. What keeps you going? No, get behind me, Satan. What's a tip that you can give?
So I will tell you, for example, right now, I was supposed to meet somebody that, you know, regarding business, because I'm here for business. I'm also, as much as, you know, I'm here for seeing my family at the same time, like I'm here for business. And I was supposed to meet somebody today. And the person said, hey, look, I can't make it, family issue, whatever. And he's like, look, I can see you the next couple of days. I'm like, I'm leaving tomorrow. There's like, you either see me now or you don't. Like that. And I was so disappointed because I know this person for such a long time. Like, we went to school together. So, you know, it goes back in the day. And so that could be an adversity for you, that somebody's listening here. Or it could be something, you know, when you just want to give up. Like, there's so many thousands of times I want to give up. Like 5 minutes ago, this afternoon, I was like, I just want to give up. I'm done. Like, God, take the wheel. Like, how long do I have to keep doing this? But I always go back to the fact of, Olivia, what is the alternative of you giving up? You're just going to live a mundane life like everybody else, a 9-to-5 job, and do what? Because that, for me, that's not even part of like the thing. And so I always go back to, what are your options? You either fight and visualize and see what it is and listen to a podcast, or go into the grass. Like, I just laid down and I listened to some worship music, and I was like, you know what? I'll just lay down for like 5-10 minutes and listen to some worship music, and, you know, I'll pass by. And it did eventually, once I had my pity party. But what is the alternative if you don't work? And it came back, God speaks in so many different ways, and whatever you guys believe in. It was like, if you give up now on your dream, who else will be able to get that breakthrough? What if you were that breakthrough for that person? What if, Lily, you were that person to be like, hey, no, I need you? Or Zazia, or Bouquet, like, what if you were that handshake, that change from that person that could automatically change? And for me, I'm like, oh, no. We're back to like, okay, let's get into it. So you talked about simple things. It's the DMOs, the daily method of operation that you say you're going to do. If you're going to do a live, you do a live. If you're going to, I always say to some, because I was talking to somebody yesterday, and she's like, yeah, but how do you overcome, regret or whatever? One, you don't fall in love with potential and people. Number two is you stick to your minimums or your maximums. There's every single day you should have a minimum of what you should do. If you do more, perfect. If you reach out to 3 people, 5 people, 10 people, 6 people, doesn't matter, who cares? Perfect. Can you post and you do that minimum? If you can do that list that works for you, the rest you can consider it handled, because you promised to yourself that you are going to do one thing every single day.
That's great advice. Those daily method of operations, and I'm not sure if Bouquet is still on the call. She's one that I met during Clubhouse. And she said she was going to start her own practice. And I've seen her killing it on social media, helping women understand their menstrual cycle, helping men understand their woman's menstrual cycle. And we say that lightly, like it's like taboo, but I love the way that she makes it feel, where it's like,
That's
really,
awesome.
it dictates our health. I'm gonna give her a plug on here too, but I'm telling you, commitment to watch people say, this is what I'm gonna do, and then you see all these obstacles, right? Because I know you've had them, right? I've heard your story, but you still show up.
I still
Your
show up.
daily method of operation, you still show up. And you said something key. Don't fall in love with the potential of someone else, right? And I love that you said that, because so many times in this industry, we fall in love with the potential that someone else may have, and then they go off to another company, or then they go off and they
To doing
trash
something else.
like they trash you, and nobody looks in the mirror, But I appreciate that you gave those tips. Definitely, my friends, if you're watching, click right up here, give her a follow. Listen, just to watch this girl go all over the UK and Europe. I love when you're like, I'm in France today. I'm in France.
Right. And it's funny because, and I will leave you with this, guys. You never know. People don't know always your story. That's why I'm always repeating when I go live. I say I help the multicultural millennial turn in extra income. And I just received a message from somebody, and they're like, you speak French? I'm like, dude, I speak French. Do you not watch my stories? Do you not watch my lives, etc.? But because I'm assuming the person follows me everywhere. But no. And I know that sometimes at first, the toughest thing that you guys can do is starting. Whatever you guys are doing, if Lily has talked to you about the opportunity or trying her product or whatever, there's always, on the other side of that, is the grass is always greener. But you have to take that first deciding step. Decide means decidere. So decidere is to do, and then I think decidere is to die or something, was to cut. You've got to decide to do something. But it's also the fact that all those years I've been online, sometimes I've had no likes. Like, I've had no one online. Like, when I tell you 0, it's like crickets. But I have acted as if there's like thousands of people, and you can watch the replay and you're like, dude, was there anybody on? There was no one on. But I just decided to show up regardless. And if you follow the course and you fall in love with the delayed gratification, with the delayed of, I see the breakthrough and it's there, it's just not in my physical reality. Just like when I drove my BMW X6 this morning, I was like, it feels natural. I went from 0 to like 100 in 2 seconds. For me, I'm like, because I've practiced it every single day. So guys, just decide. Commit to yourself, and if you have to commit to Lily, tell her, look, I'm committing to this, and I shall do it every single day, then absolutely.
And I gotta repeat what you said. It's committing to yourself, right?
Yes.
Making that list, because what's for one person isn't for another, right? Not everything is for everyone, and not everyone is for everything.
Yeah.
I love what you're doing with mixed race. I love that you're like really bringing a message out of unification. I
Yeah.
think we all need that. We all need
Yeah.
that, and that's another PJ Chats for another
Yeah.
day. But I know you've got your podcast. Keep doing what you're doing. You are a light. You
Thank
are
you.
real. You
I
are raw. You're attractive, and not just in looks, girl, your spirit, your aura. So I wish you the best. I want to see you walking that stage. You know, I'll go visit. I'll go visit. You better call me when you're
Come
like,
to
hey, I'm at
Paris, come
convention.
to London. Yes, I will see
I'll
you.
go
Or if it's
visit.
somewhere else, it's, yeah,
Hey,
it's
come to
Europe is
Florida.
close enough. Yeah, yeah,
Come
I
to
think
Florida.
I've told you I will go to Florida. Yeah,
I
but thank you
adore
so
you.
much. Thank you.
Thank you
I
for
love
your
you.
time. I know it's midnight over in your neck of the woods, but I appreciate that you made the time. You know, you're definitely a great example of commitment. And those that follow you, that are joining your team, they're in for the ride of their life because you offer your heart. And I'm a big believer in heart-led leadership, because heart-led leaders like you rise up the leader in someone else. You're not creating followers, you are creating leaders, and I
Mm.
appreciate you for that. So love you very much.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much. Thanks everybody for tuning
and
on.
thank everybody for watching. Yes, good night over in
Bye.
France.
In
How
France,
do you say good
bonne
night in
nuit.
French? Wait, bonne nuit, bonne nuit,
Bonne nuit. Bonne nuit. Bonne
bonne
nuit.
nuit, bonne
Bonne
nuit.
nuit. Bonne nuit. Ciao.
Je t'aime, je t'aime.
Je t'aime. Bisous. Ciao.